Without coffee, something's missing. It's not personal, it's strictly business. I always tell the truth, even when I lie. Either we heal now, as a team, or we will die as individuals. On any given Sunday, you're gonna win or you're gonna lose. The point is, can you win or lose like a man? If you get all tangled up, just tango on. Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, but don't swallow. There is no happiness. There is only concentration. It's easy to fool the eye, but it's hard to fool the heart. They say we die twice, once when the last breath leaves our body and once when the last person we know says our name. You'll never be alone if you've got a book. The problem with me is, I guess, the way I express myself. You have to be with me 50 years before you can get a sense of what I'm talking about. Either I act or I die. Freedom, baby, is never having to say you're sorry. The only thing in this world that gives orders is balls. Love is overrated. Biochemically no different than eating large quantities of chocolate. Forget the career, do the work. If you feel what you are doing is online and you're going someplace and you have a vision and you stay with it, eventually things will happen. We live in a world where the more you're working, the more things you do. It's a workaday world. There are many things my father taught me here in this room. He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. All I am is what I'm going after. Be careful how you judge people, most of all friends. You don't sum up a man's life in one moment. Vanity, my favorite sin. I don't regret anything. I feel like I've made what I would call mistakes. I picked the wrong movie, or I didn't pursue a character, but everything you do is part of you and you get something from it. I don't need bodyguards. I'm from the South Bronx. Shakespeare's plays are more violent than Scarface. The fruit falls off the tree. You don't shake it off before it's ready to fall. I was playing a part of someone dealing dope on a street corner, and there was a guy actually dealing heroin right there. I looked at him, he looked at me, and I got real confused. Opinions I have about anything are in my personal life. Our ability to manufacture fraud now exceeds our ability to detect it. Women have always had equal importance on stage, and working with them must have altered my sensibilities. I've never felt sensitive to the whole issue, because being macho has never been a problem with me. I like women who can cook. That's first. Love is very important, but you've got to have a friend first. You want to finally come to a point where you say that the woman you're with is also your friend. You never open your mouth until you know what the shot is. There was a time in my life when being dishonest with women was the natural way to be. I finally said, hey, I have to stop this silliness. Drinking and smoking grass were a part of my life as far back as I can remember. It turned out that time doesn't heal the wound, but in its so merciful way, blunts the edges ever so slightly. I'm an actor, not a star. Stars are people who live in Hollywood and have heart-shaped swimming pools. The actor becomes an emotional athlete. A lot of acting is private time. I'm so shy now I wear sunglasses everywhere I go. A kiss is a lusty dollop of dessert to be served with desire and savored with passion. Romantic love can be a lot of crap, though, let me tell you. And it can hurt you. I've never cared for guns. In fact, when I did send of a woman I had to learn how to assemble one. I want to be a great actor someday, and I've decided there's no use philosophizing. The only way is to work at my craft. Sometimes you're fighting corporations and forget that people can talk to each other. Our life is looking forward or looking back, that's it. Where is the moment? Sometimes what we imagine and the world aren't different things. Sometimes they are the same exact thing. Love goes through different stages. But it endures. What's this thing that gets between us and Shakespeare? If something is working, don't fix it. Keep going. Go with the glow. Chekhov was as important to me as anybody as a writer. The actor becomes an emotional athlete. The process is painful. My personal life suffers. If you have the opportunity to meet someone as an actor, it's just great fodder for you. It's wonderful source stuff that we die for. Playing a character is an illusion, and I feel that when you know too much about a person, possibly part of that illusion is disrupted. That's the way to live, around people who care. It may be a tough ride, but something is going to go. Actors are always outsiders. It's necessary to be able to interpret, and that gets distorted when you become famous. I didn't go for the needle at all. I never cared for drugs, because I saw what they did to most people. I thought that. The difference between the actor and the painter is that the actor would buy somebody a Knish in order to have them watch him act. It wasn't until I got older that I realized acting was something I could really do. All due respect, and trying to be as modest as I can be, I am a dancer. It would be hard to play a character you don't like, for me anyway, or can't find something in them to like. I am more alive in the theater than anywhere else, but what I take into the theater I get from the streets. Show me a bad script and I will show you a big payday. The thing that can get you a little upset is when people say other people are better than you. That can bug you. Man is a little bit better than his reputation, and a little bit worse. I hope the perception is that I'm an actor. I never intended to be a movie star. There has been a lot of self-doubt and unwelcome events in my life. Responsibilities are relative. My responsibility is to a character in a script, to a part I'm playing. When you're reading some of the great plays, when you do what I call taking up with a writer, something happens. I was never very happy with performing. It didn't turn me on much. You don't get to know anybody in a movie until after it's over. You work less together in a film than you do on stage. Certainly the movies were always in the air for me. I come from the era when actors thought it was a big deal to be in the movies. The literal, basic thing of the stage is really like a magnet. It brings me back to earth. Did you know I started out as a stand-up comic? People don't believe me when I tell them. That's how I saw myself, in comedy. I want to be interesting in an interview just as much as I want to do well in a part. Sometimes the only way you can get an audience is at an audition. I've often said there's two kinds of actors. There's a more gregarious type and the shy type. I turned down a lot of films before I made my first one. I knew that it was time for me to get into movies.